Hey Marie, how are you? I saw that you were out all week. Where were you? Did you take a trip or something? I bet you took a trip with your family. Am I right? Where did you go, if I may ask? Was it overseas, maybe? Did you bring back any souvenirs? Oh, I wonder what it could be. Come on, Marie, where was your trip to? You could tell me. Oh, hello, Sandra. You're getting a bit ahead of yourself as usual. I just went with the family to visit my husband's parents over in Sanford, that's all, so no souvenirs. Sorry. It was just your boring visit to Grandpa and Grandma's house. We just sat around at home and relaxed, not sightseeing or anything. Really not much to see around there except wheat fields. Oh, really? Oh, that's no fun. It's almost Thanksgiving weekend and you went to visit your grandparents, huh? Yeah, Thanksgiving weekend we plan to visit my folks over on the East Coast. It's a bit further, so we'll stay a little longer. It's a hassle because both of us want to stay longer. We have to share our time wisely. Oh, yeah. Hey, you said your husband lives over in Sanford, right? Isn't there a big amusement park over there? Yeah, but it's like an hour's drive over there, and I heard it gets pretty crowded on the weekends. I envy you so much. You get to go all over the place. I was thinking of taking the kids there, but my folks are pretty old. They would rather relax at home. We had neighbors over for a barbecue. That was about it. Oh, really? What a waste. I heard that place was really fun, like Disneyland. A real missed opportunity. You were all there. You really should have popped over and enjoyed yourselves. The kids would have had a blast. That's why you don't have any souvenirs, huh? What a bummer. I was expecting a little something. Oh well, you sure put a damper on that. Yeah, alright. Okay, no souvenir from me means nothing for you when I come back from my Hawaii vacation. Sorry. Now we're even, right? I was planning on buying a whole bunch of neat stuff. Oh well, you really missed out, Marie. You're taking a vacation? You're going to Hawaii? Yep, that's right. This is my first time, so I'm so excited. We're leaving tomorrow, as a matter of fact. Oh, I get it now. So this is what it's all about, huh? You just wanted to tell me? Of course I wanted to tell you. What do you mean by that anyway? Nothing. Wow, how nice. Oh, sorry, Sandra. I just remembered I have to get dinner ready for the kids. I really have to go. I'm so sorry to cut this short, but we'll talk again later, I promise. Talk to you again. Bye. Yeah, okay. Bye. Hey, Sandra, are you there? Please reply. This is important. It's about your son, Kenny. He's sitting on your back porch crying his eyes out. I can see him from my kitchen window. What's going on? Did he lock himself out or something? Isn't anybody home? He seems so upset. It's getting really cold outside, so you better get him inside. I heard it was going to snow tonight. Are you even home, Sandra? I may have to go over there, you know. He's gonna freeze out there. You better get him inside right away. Huh? Relax, would you? What are you all upset about, Marie? Hey, Sandra, finally! It's freezing outside. I heard it's gonna snow later. Let him inside, the poor kid. Oh, you're talking about Kenny, right? Yeah, well, I left him out there on purpose. Pardon me? On purpose? What are you saying? What was I supposed to do? He was screaming and going on like a little monster. He insisted that I take him to Hawaii with me. Can you believe the little brat? I was going to be late catching the flight to Hawaii, so I had no other choice but to leave him out there on the porch. I mean, what else was I supposed to do, for God's sake? Anyways, I left him with that big down jacket. He'll be fine. Wait, are you saying you're not even home? Yeah, that's right. I'm in the airport limo now, heading to the airport. Almost at the terminal, as a matter of fact. But I suppose I kind of expected he would act this way. And I knew you would be in the kitchen and probably be looking toward our house right about this time. That's right, I've been monitoring you, Marie. The whole thing went just the way I planned. You planned this? What are you even talking about? I knew you'd be looking out your window. You always prepare lunch about now, and you have a clear view from that window. I knew you would see him. I had him wear that big red down jacket just in case. Worked, huh? So take care of Kenny for me while I enjoy some sun, would you? Sure would appreciate it. I'm going to be in Hawaii for a week, and I don't want to be bothered. I need some quiet time for myself with no interruptions. So I'm going to shut off my phone the whole time I'm here, just so you know. Okay then, I'm off to paradise. Take care of little Kenny for me while I'm gone, okay? Bye. Aloha. Hey, Sandra, don't know when you're going to see this since you said you were shutting off your phone. I've retrieved Kenny from the back porch and brought him over to our house. He was freezing, you know. That was no down jacket, just a red windbreaker. What were you thinking? He's fine now, but it could have been serious if I hadn't seen him. Reply when you see this, and I mean ASAP. No reply probably means your little vacation has started and you won't see this until next week. Probably sitting on the beach about now. But you're going to see this sooner or later. I can't just let you off the hook. It doesn't feel right to just let this go. So I'm going to leave a long message for you. What the hell is wrong with you, Sandra? I believe your husband is currently assigned overseas, right? He comes back once or twice a year or something? I remember you griping about that after our PTA meeting. You wouldn't shut up about it. Who the hell did you go to Hawaii with anyway? Was this one of those solo trips? I know it's just you and your son, but I really can't understand why you would leave your son all alone to go off to Hawaii for a week. And you leave your kid out on the porch in the freezing cold with only a thin windbreaker? How could you do that? What if I wasn't home that day? He would have been out there all night. This could have ended badly, you know? Did you even think that far? How can you even call yourself a mother? Are you just disguised as a mother, but in reality you're some evil monster? I talked to my husband about it, and he may be able to contact your husband overseas. When your husband returns, I'll return Kenny to his dad. So when you get back, contact him and work the rest out yourselves. That's all I have to say. Enjoy the rest of your vacation, Sandra. Looks like you haven't even turned your phone on yet. I guess you're keeping your word about no interruptions. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to give you a daily update about your husband. We contacted him last night, and apparently he hopped on a plane right away. He's scheduled to be back later this afternoon. Just so you know, I'll be over there when he arrives, and you can be sure I will tell him every last detail about this situation. Honestly speaking, what you did was totally inexcusable. And after I do that, we leave for my parents' home and won't be back for a few days. So even if you contact me about Kenny, I won't be able to help you out. You're just going to have to contact your husband and talk it over with him. Just don't rely on me to help. Oh, and one more thing. It seems you're not only ignoring my messages, but your husband's as well. But you know what, Sandra? Maybe people already know why you went to Hawaii. And maybe who you went with. Or maybe even details about this guy. Address and phone number, maybe? You may be pretty surprised how much everyone knows. I bet some preparations are being made. But what do I know, right? Anyways, have fun, and hope all this was worth it. Hello there, Marie. How was your week? I just arrived back from Hawaii. I had such a wonderful time. I brought so many souvenirs. The luggage weighs a ton. I'm glad I have rollers on this suitcase. Had the guy loaded onto the van and off again. I better give him a big tip when we arrive back at the house. Oh yeah, and how is little Kenny? Tell him I got him a super nice gift. He's going to love it. I really don't know how to thank you for taking care of my son this entire week. I hope he wasn't a burden on you. I'll stop by and pick him up after I return. But I have to tell you, Marie, it is so nice having such a considerate and useful person living right next door. I don't know what I would have done if you weren't here, Marie. Thanks so much for this. I hope I can count on you again in the future. I bet Kenny likes it over there. Maybe he doesn't even want to return. And I heard your cooking was pretty good too, always standing in the kitchen like a good housewife. Oh, I almost forgot. Remember when I said I would not get you a souvenir because of that last time? You remember that, right? Well, I'm keeping my word. No souvenir for you, Marie. Sorry, and eye for an eye, right? I wasn't expecting one, so don't worry about it. Oh, there you are, Marie. I was wondering when you were going to answer. You're acting a bit high and mighty. Do I sense a tinge of jealousy, perhaps? Just because you babysat my kid for a week, aren't you being a little lordy? Babysit? Your son's not over here. I'm not looking after him. Pardon me, are you saying he's not over there at your place? What I'm saying is that even if you come over now to pick him up, he's not here. Hold on a second. You saw him on the porch, then took him in, and you've been looking after him the whole week, right? I mean, come on, Marie. You found him sitting out there on the porch. And as you know, my husband is working overseas and only comes back once or twice a year. You're the one who found him, and you're supposed to be our neighbor, for God's sake. You have a responsibility to take care of him. I'm starting to see the picture. I figured as much. When you were in Hawaii, I sent a daily report of what was going on, but you had your phone shut off. And it seems you haven't even looked through your past messages. No, I never read past messages. What's that got to do with anything? I would just ask you to open up Line and check your messages for the past week, and you'll get a better understanding of what I'm talking about. If you take a good hard look at it, you'll see that it's probably not only me, but I'm guessing there are a bunch of messages from your husband and your parents. Yeah, well, it just seems like such a nuisance to have to answer back every time, so I just shut it off and enjoyed my time in Hawaii. You'd do the same. That's where you're wrong. I am way more responsible than you. You'd rather ignore all your messages and have a jolly old time than worry about your kid or your family. I hope all of it was worth it. What are you going on and on about? Was Kenny a pain in the butt or something? Don't take it out on me, Marie. Just look at your darn messages, would you? You'll know what I'm going on and on about. All right already, you don't have to get all irritated for Pete's sake. What the hell has gotten into you? What the hell is this, Marie? How the hell did this happen? How the hell did you get in touch with my husband? He's working overseas. Who told you his contact info? I certainly didn't. When you guys moved in next door, my husband was already assigned overseas. You only met him a handful of times. Did someone in the neighborhood tell you? I bet it was Miss Bennett down the street. She was always asking about my husband. Well, what you didn't know was that my husband had business dealings with your husband. They met on occasion. Business dealings? They worked together before? You never told me that. Yeah, there was some business project they worked on together about a year ago. He mentioned the company and where he was stationed, so it wasn't very hard to track him down. Are you serious? They know each other? Yep. I really thought you knew. Don't you guys talk much? Guess you figured nobody knew your husband, huh? That's why you felt safe about going to Hawaii all alone. Or was it? Anyway, your actions were despicable. You do realize that, don't you? Excuse me? How could you say that? Come on, Sandra, think about it. You put your own kid in danger. He could have frozen to death that day. What if I wasn't home and nobody found him? My God, I hate to even think about it. If someone had called the police, you could have been charged, you know? Did that thought ever cross your mind? Call the police? Are you serious? Why would anybody call the police? You make me sound like a criminal. You're lucky that there was no need for such a drastic measure. We took Kenny in. He was a bit shaken, but he was fine, and we were also able to contact your husband, so... But if the police were called, there could have been consequences. You could have been charged with a crime. To put a young child in danger like that? What were you thinking? You're kidding me, right? Oh yeah, and your husband? He said he was contemplating divorce. I would talk to him right away, Sandra. He was furious. That guy you went to Hawaii with? Yes, we all know all about this guy. Apparently, he's your boyfriend, wasn't he? The way I see it, I think you're going to have a pretty difficult time getting custody of Kenny. Sure looks like your husband holds all the winning cards. He wants a divorce and he wants custody? How was I supposed to know it would all get overblown like this? It was just a short little vacation for Pete's sake. What am I gonna do? Kind of late to be worrying about that, wouldn't you say? Hey, Marie, are you there? Please pick up. Where did my husband and Kenny go? You must know. You have to tell me. Come on. Are they at a neighbor's house? Down at Miss Bennett's place, maybe? Is that where they are? I just walked in the door and all our stuff is gone. The place is cleaned out. Where did they go? I went over to your place too and nobody's there either. Where is everyone, for God's sake? I asked Mrs. Simpson across the street and she wouldn't tell me anything. Just shrugged her shoulders. I bet she knows. Did you tell her to keep her mouth shut? I just found the divorce papers and photos showing us on the beach in Hawaii. Who took these photos anyway? Did my husband hire a private investigator? There's also a business card here for some divorce lawyer. Why? How did he find out? Why didn't you just look the other way, Marie? Not only that, my boyfriend contacted me. Apparently my husband called him and told him that I was married. He wasn't supposed to know. He just sent me a line. He wants nothing more to do with me. We had such a romantic time in Hawaii. He said he loved me, and then he drops me just like that? Was that all a lie? I can't believe this is happening to me. Where did it all go wrong? I don't want to split up with my husband. What am I going to do all alone from now on? I want my boyfriend back. After I got that line message, she evidently headed over to her parents' place, who live about an hour's drive away. I guess she's living with them now. After about a month, I heard that the divorce was finally settled. Just as I expected, her husband was granted full custody of Kenny, and she was obligated to pay a considerable amount as compensation. I also heard she had to pay the boyfriend a certain amount too. The poor guy thought she was single and was even thinking of marrying her down the line. I don't blame him for demanding compensation. With child support and compensation for both her husband and the boyfriend, I heard she was like $100,000 or more in debt. A neighbor who knows her pretty well told me that she's living with her folks and working every day to pay off that debt. At least she has somewhere to go. I bet her folks never expected to take care of their daughter again. She apparently regrets what she did and is trying to make up for it. I suppose it's a little too late for that. Anyway, she won't be going on any vacations to Hawaii anytime soon.
Hey, you! Are you still holding on to your job? How many times have I told you that you should just quit and become a good full-time housewife for my son? Oh, hello, Linda. Nice to hear from you, too. I hope you can understand where I'm coming from when I say this, but I've also told you many times that I'm not interested in quitting my job and being a housewife. I had hoped we were on the same page about this by now. And besides, it's not like Rick minds me working at all, so I really don't see the issues. If I'm being honest, I think this is an issue that should probably be decided between me and my husband. What? What are you talking about, Paige? You do know that people are calling you selfish for not quitting your job so you can take care of your little girl. What? But I don't think I'm being selfish at all. What could possibly be selfish about working hard at a job that helps provide for your family? But have you thought about the effect you working will have on little Lucy? She probably feels like her mom is ignoring her and doesn't love her. Just think how this might affect her when she gets older. Whatever ends up happening to her will be all your fault. Are you okay with that? You think my child is going to grow up to have lots of issues all because her mom had a job? I really am not seeing the connection there. I'm sorry. Everything I do, I am doing for Lucy. Her well-being is always at the front of my mind, okay? Besides, I'm still with her throughout the day, you know? But what you're doing isn't enough for her. Kids are super keen on these kinds of things and can be really sensitive to a lack of attention from parents. You need to be spending a lot more time than you think with your children, you know. I bet your poor little girl is so lonely without having you around the home to take care of her. I'm sorry, but I just really don't think a lot of what you're saying is necessarily true. Besides, it's not like Lucy is ever really left alone at any point in the day. After all, she is about to start going to preschool with lots of other kids. And when she does start preschool, then I'll be taking off work early every day to go and pick her up. And I'm telling you right now that this is still not enough for her. And your poor little girl is just too much of a sweetheart to say anything to you. Are you sure that that's really what's going on? Anyways, it's fine because Rick is always helping out around the house too. And when I can't be with Lucy, he always makes sure to spend lots of quality time with her. She always seems to be having a lot of fun when they're together. And you think that's a fair burden to put on my poor son? Don't you know how busy he is with his work? He deserves to rest when he comes home. But now you tell me that you're too lazy to be a parent to your own daughter, so you make Rick do it. Don't you know that it's the woman's job to raise the kids and manage the home? I'm really sorry, Linda, but I just don't think we share the same beliefs on that topic. Besides, I think that times have changed and that mentality is a bit outdated. If a couple can hold jobs together, then they can raise their own children together. After all, it's their child, so isn't it only natural that both parents should have a role in raising it? Well, here in my family, we still respect traditional values and don't think like that. I don't care what the rest of the world is doing. My family, my rules. Well, then again, I suppose you are just Rick's wife. It's not like we're really even family. But since you've married in, the least you can do is raise your family how I tell you to. Don't you think you might be overstepping just a little? And don't even get me started on the house. I mean, do you do anything to keep it clean? You just let clothes pile up unwashed, dishes in the sink, dust everywhere. Food left just sitting out. I mean, honestly, do you even try to keep your house clean? I thought you might try and bring up the state of the house. Last time you came over, you did so without any kind of message or heads up. Then you barged in and started inspecting every nook and cranny for things to nitpick. Anyways, that really wasn't appreciated, so please don't do that again. What could have possibly upset you over my visit? Maybe if you actually kept your home in order, then you wouldn't be upset when guests come over. I didn't tell you I was coming over because I wanted to make a point. And I had to be thorough while I was looking around. Who knows where you might have tried to hide your clutter from me? I wasn't hiding things. And even if I was, it's my house, and I think I have that right if I want. Oh, is that what you think, dear? You just didn't want me finding out what a messy person you are. I never wanted you to marry my precious little boy. He deserves a wife that can actually take care of the house like she's supposed to. Actually, Rick and I do a really good job of splitting the chores. And it is true that sometimes both him and I get a little too busy that the housework doesn't get done. But we've never once let it get to the point where it's become a serious issue. We always make sure the house is clean enough that there's never any danger to our health or anything like that. Well, I still don't think it's good enough. I can't stand going over to your filthy house. And I just know my little Ricky feels the same way. After all, I raised him and always made sure the house was spotless as he grew up. I really don't think you have to worry about that, Linda. Rick and I talk regularly, and he doesn't seem to have complaints about the way we live. Oh, my poor, sweet little boy. He must try so hard every day to control himself around you. I just wish he would divorce you already. Okay, I think I'm starting to get a little fed up with this conversation. I would appreciate if you chose your next words very carefully. I'm just so worried about my little boy. He works so hard at his job every day and even makes sure to send a little money back home to me. I've heard that you don't send money back to your parents. Is that true? It's never a bad time to stop being a bad daughter. Actually, I don't send money home to my parents because they really don't need the assistance. Besides, they both still work full-time and haven't reached retirement age yet. I know that you were able to be a stay-at-home mom the entirety of Rick's childhood. But ever since your husband died, you've needed Rick to send money to help you get by. And I'm just ever so grateful to my sweet, sweet son. I did such an amazing job raising him to be the way he is now. Of course, he isn't perfect and has made some wrong decisions in his life, too. Some small and some not so small, that is. Oh, I should have been there to guide him towards a better path. I'm sure I have no idea what you're talking about right now. Anyways, it is our house, not yours, so we will continue to do things our way. Please hold back from giving any more comments or criticism about how you think my house is run. Thank you. Excuse me. Just who do you think you're talking to, young lady? If this is how you really act, then I truly do feel sorry for my poor little boy and my granddaughter. Anyways, I'm quite busy, so I am going to go now.
Hi, honey. Did you and my mom happen to talk a little earlier today? My mom sent a message that was mostly just her complaining to me.
Yes, we did talk. She was asking me, again, if I was sure about not being a stay-at-home mom. She was just talking about how lonely she thought Lucy must be and how dirty she thinks the house is. Just the usual run-of-the-mill complaints, you know?
Ah, I see. I am so sorry you are having to deal with her like that. I've told her so many times that you and I happily split the work and manage the house together, but she's just so set in her old ways and keeps insisting that all the stuff should be handled by the wife. And then she only blames you when the chores aren't done or the house is a little messy. I've tried explaining how things really are to her all the time, but she just doesn't seem to want to really listen to what I have to say.
No, I understand. He's really okay. Your mom is just the kind of person who really tries to exert her will onto others sometimes. I mean, that's about what I hear from you as well. If I'm being honest, I kind of feel bad for you sometimes too. You're also kind of a victim in this.
Yeah, maybe just a little. I'm just sorry that all of her anger always seems to be focused on you, though. I really wish there was something I could do or say to my mom to get her to stop with all this. Lately, I just haven't even been trying to tell her the truth because she's getting to be so much. I'm so sorry I haven't done more to try and stop all of this.
Rick, I said it was okay and I meant it. I know that you have a lot on your plate and that you're doing your best. And your hard work is really paying off, too. I mean, just look at how well you did on that test last week. You're chasing certifications and always moving one step closer to your dream job.
Paige, that's so sweet of you. Thank you so much. But I really couldn't have done any of the things that I have without you by my side, always willing to help. And I know I haven't made things easy on you with all this, but I promise I'll have some good news soon. All I ask is that you hold on just a little bit longer, okay?
Of course, baby. You know I'll always be cheering you on. We're going to that barbecue restaurant for a family dinner. We're going to have so much good food. Except for you. You're only allowed to eat from the salad bar. Excuse me? What do you mean I can only eat from the salad bar? Well, you're not family, and this is a family dinner. That's why I say that you can't order anything off the menu. Only the salad bar. Maybe you can just get your fill off of all the good smells. What are you even talking about? Don't you think this is just a bit excessive? And here she goes again. The bad wife always arguing with her mother-in-law and never doing what she's told. I really can't stand you, you know that? Why don't you just go home? Okay then, maybe I will. Good. Leave then. That's what I'm doing. Hey! You evil witch! What did you say to Rick? He is furious with me right now. Did you know even your own daughter said that she hates Grandma now? What kind of evil lies did you tell my family? Wow, did Lucy really say that to you? I guess I've been raising my kid to be a lot tougher than I thought. Honestly, I'm moved to hear that. Tell me what you told them! Tell me what you said that made my son and granddaughter so furious with me! I got so upset I had to run to the bathroom. Rick even told me that I have to change the way I talk to you. Huh, can you believe that? I would certainly hope that that's the least he said to you, Linda. I've been pissed all day because of the nonsense you were spouting at me earlier. So I talked to Rick and told him all the horrible things that you said to me. He seemed really, really upset with you after I finished telling him everything. You evil harpy! What lies did you fill my poor little boy's head with? What did you do to my sweet, precious Ricky? It was around the time that I was heading towards the restaurant where I thought we would all be eating together. Then suddenly, I got all those nasty messages from you that resulted in me not even showing up. Well, I explained what had happened to Rick and that I was too upset and had to go home. And I guess that was just about the time that Rick and Lucy arrived to meet you at the restaurant. So that's why it was only those two who were there when I arrived. And what is this drivel I hear about my son not working right now? You're telling me that my son and grandchild have been living off what you've been bringing home? That can't be. I don't believe it. Wow, so Rick finally told you what he's been up to, huh? Well, that was unexpected, if I'm being honest. He told me he would wait until he achieved his goal before finally spilling it all to you. What are you talking about? You talk to me straight right now or else. What are you going on about? Rick's goal. You better tell me. So, I guess this conversation didn't get very far then, huh? Did you know that Rick has always wanted to be a designer? I'm sure you must have known that about your precious little boy, no? He what? What are you even saying right now? You're telling me that is what Rick is studying right now? Design? That's right. He went back to school to pursue his passion for design. And that's why I've been working extra hard to provide for all of my family. This has got to be some kind of joke, surely. I thought I made sure those silly dreams of his were put to rest when he was little. Well, for a long, long time, they really were. Do you see? You got in the way of your son doing what he really wanted to do. Now I'm working hard to give him a chance to achieve those dreams you made him give up. He's always been such an obedient son, doing whatever you told him to do. Well, I won't be doing the same. Instead, I'll support him all the way while he finds his own path. You stupid cow. Are you trying to ruin my son's future? Oh, Linda. Isn't that the exact question that I should be asking you? Always making Rick do things he didn't want to. Forcing him to apply for companies that you picked out for him. It didn't matter as long as your expectations were satisfied, right? But I had to. Because of that, he had a comfortable salary and a good job with an amazing company. But you made him leave all that behind just so he could chase some childish dream of his. Don't you realize that this will ruin him? Let me tell you something about his job, Linda. Not only was it something that he didn't pick out for himself and never wanted to do, but every day he would come home late after hours of overtime and constantly look depressed. What I'm doing for Rick, I'm doing because I want him to enjoy his life more. I want to support him the way my parents supported me starting my own business. But you have to open your eyes. This is the real world that we're living in. And let me tell you something, young lady. The real world does not give one spit about your dreams. What if Rick fails? What is your plan then? If that's what happens, then we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But no matter what happens, I'll always be working hard to provide for my family. Because that's what a good husband and wife do. We're there for each other. Well, that's all well and good for you two, but what about Lucy? Aren't you neglecting her by always working so much? I mean, just look at the state of your house. That is no way to be raising an infant child. Actually, since I'm working as much as I am, Rick has been taking care of all the housework. Of course, I help him whenever I can, since his first priority right now is taking care of Lucy. What kind of sick family dynamic is that? You make your husband handle the housework? That's just unnatural. In life, there's work, and housework. Since I'm handling the work, Rick is in charge of the housework. But I guess if you think about it, it's the exact opposite of the way things used to be back in your day. And that's why it's unacceptable. I simply will not allow it to happen. I don't really care what you think. Lucy is always so supportive of how hard her dad works. And when she grows up and has dreams and ambitions of her own, Rick and I will be there to support her in whatever she wants to do. After all, it's all thanks to the way you raised him that Rick was so miserable for so long. What did you just say to me? That's why he is so opposed to raising Lucy the way you raised him. Do you understand everything I'm trying to tell you right now? We are going to do things our own way and make sure our kids are raised the way we want them to be. You think you can just go off and raise kids without grandparents? You'll regret this. No, Linda. I think the one who will be regretting how this turns out will be you. I feel like you should know that the allowance you thought Rick was sending you this whole time was actually from my own earnings. But your own son said it's time that you were cut off. And so from today, you will no longer be receiving your checks in the mail. Wait, what? Then how am I supposed to live? How am I supposed to buy food? I never had to work before. I was a stay-at-home mom my whole life. And this is the result of you thinking that that was the best choice for yourself. I guess you should have thought of a backup plan in case things turned out this way. I've gotten as far as I have in life through my own strength, and that's why I will never be a housewife. Wait, you can't do this to me. I'm your mother-in-law. I was wrong. I understand that. You don't only have to eat at the salad bar. Do you think we could meet in person and talk? There's nothing else I want to say to you. I hope you lead a life that you can be sure you chose for yourself. I'm sure that's the only way you'll know whether your decisions were correct or not. But in my opinion, I think people who have never worked a day in their lives should learn a bit about the real world before telling others how to live. After that, Linda left the bathroom stall of the restaurant and returned to her table. She was still sat there, getting lectured to by her son, when I arrived. I took one look at Linda and told her to enjoy the salad bar before going home with my family. We left Linda there to think about her choices. Linda had a difficult time trying to find a part-time job to help sustain her new life without checks from our family. I've heard that she is barely eking by. But that's just desserts for you. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to see more content like this.